So tonight we're looking at the back half of James chapter 3, talking about wisdom again. If you remember, we're kind of returning to that theme that was in the first chapter of James. Now, what's interesting here is we really get an understanding of what wisdom is, because oftentimes wisdom is misunderstood. I think it's kind of like people who know how to do things really well. Like you think of these corporate people who are really wise, they know how to make a lot of money, or these military chiefs who are very wise and that they know how to exercise their power to conquer others. But that's really not what being wise is in a biblical understanding. Here he's actually contrasting the two. He's saying there's a wisdom that comes from God and a wisdom from the world. And you see the wisdom from God if you see the characteristics listed. It actually has true wisdom and understanding is about seeing the world as God sees it and having sort of His lenses and His mind in looking at it all. It's not necessarily the best way to get power or the best way to get things done, but it's a person of wisdom, understanding. It's sort of like, what would Jesus do kind of person. But this is contrasted to wisdom of the world. And do you notice a phrase that's used twice in our passage? Envy and selfish ambition. It seems to be what's characteristic of this sort of unspiritual wisdom, as he says, this wisdom that's of the devil and earthly, that causes disorder and harm. I think it's worth spending some time in your group of asking yourself, what is it about envy? What is it about selfish ambition that is so opposed to the wisdom of God and what God is like? In what ways is that very different than the life Jesus lived? And in what ways does that influence you? How do we become people of wisdom and understanding? Peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy, good fruit. How do we make that part of how we view the world? Because that's what it means to be a person who is wise understanding, right? Shown by his good life, deeds done in humility, that come from this wisdom of seeing the world as God does. Anyway, I hope you have a great discussion tonight.